Locus here, and here's another review of this amazing figure from Tamashii Nations and Bandai. We do have here a Silver Knight Zero, the 10th anniversary release from the Makai Kado line. It's more commonly known as the Wing Zero figure because it came with wings, which I will show you guys later on. So this is the most recent release they had. I've always wanted to get this figure since it was announced, I believe last year. So finally it's here, so we can do a review of this figure. So for the articulation, let's start with the head. So for the head, it has a good range of motion thanks to the ball joint connected to the neck. Right there, it can move way up. Now, here, the neck is connected through a ball joint again, connecting to the upper body. So, expect a good range of motion is present here. Alright, and just like any other Makai Kado figures, expect the mouth opens. But for this one, it seems like the hinges connecting to the jawline here is very visible. So it has a good range of motion on the head. We have established that. Now for the shoulder pads, amazingly, they introduced another version of joint system with their Makai Kado figures where it's using a double hinge. As you can see, just get some light. So just hope you guys can see it better. There you go. So it's on a double hinge. This is to ensure that the arm articulation won't be hindered by this part here. So it's a good thing that they did this. Now for the arm and the bicep, it's connected here through a ball joint, and then there's a hinge right here, the midsection part here. Then this part here, the bicep, it's being connected through a ball joint. Again, as you can see, there's a slight movement going on there. There's a good range of motion here on the arm, so you can see. So yeah, and of course there's a bicep swivel, so good range of motion. So yeah, it's a good range of... There you go, bicep swivel. Then there's a two hinges here, one connected through the bicep, then another one connecting through the forearm. So there's a double hinge joint going on here, which is nice, right? And then surprisingly, the forearm moves. So, and I think it's kind of slight on the ball joint, I think, because it kind of moves connected through a ball joint. Just not 100% sure about that, but the movement, the way this thing moves, it seems like it's on a ball joint too. So yeah. Now for this one, the wrist is on a visible single hinge right here. So this is a new one for them, but I think they really did this for this figure to have a more agile articulation, range of motion when it comes to displaying this figure with the sword, with the blades it came with. So it's a good thing for me. It's just that sometimes it kind of looks off, but yeah, it's not really a huge deal for me. But it's a single hinge like that, so there's a good range of motion right there on the wrist. Like I said, it was made solely for this figure to look good on a display. So yeah. Then here, the upper abdominal part here is on a ball joint too, so expect a good range of motion is present. It can tilt a little. There you go. As you can see, good range of motion right there. Can move way backward. Alright. And then there's another ball joint here on the waist. I'm not sure if you can hear the squeaky sound. Maybe because the figure is just new and I love, I love that sound. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So yeah, there you go. Here this moves independently, so it's not attached or glued on the waist itself. So yeah, um, the legs can raise that far. It's on a double hinge knee, as you can see there. So there's not much of a hindrance on the armor detail. So good job, Bandai. Here, these knee pads, knee guards are glued at the center of the knee. Alright, and for some reason, this part also moves a little. I'm not gonna put too much pressure on it. It's not like it's broken, but so yeah, it has a tie swivel. As you can see, tie swivel. It can move backward that far. Alright, there's a detailing here that's hindering it. As you can see, there you go. It can do split as far as that because of the detailing here on the side. So it's not really a huge deal for me. Probably to some maybe. There's not much of a hinge right here. Just a double groin ball joint, single one connected to the thigh, to the groin right here. So it won't move, and definitely you won't be able to use this to ride Guten. I mean the Ginga, the Madou horse of this figure. Anyway, so here the ankles is on a single hinge right here. So the feet can move upward, downward. Then a secondary hinge right here. So this figure can tilt its feet like that. I just don't want to force it. I might break it. Just kinda won't budge. It won't budge. Maybe because it's new. But yeah, it's a hinge that should move. It may move eventually, but yeah, it's there. So there you have it for the articulation of the figure. So for size comparison, we do have from left to right the Marvel Select Savage Hulk figure and our Makai Kado Silver Knight Zero figure, which stands at least 7-inch tall, next to the 6-inch Black Series Stormtrooper figure and the DC Icons Batman figure. There you have it. So here's another part of this review where we're gonna compare the earlier release of Zero, the Makai Kado Zero figure, and the 10th anniversary Makai Kado 10th anniversary Zero figure. So as you can see, it's very obvious there's a huge improvement as far as details on the new one compared to the old one. Actually, it really, it's up to you which one do you prefer most, the old one or the new one, but I'll show you guys the stuffs that you need to know. So you've seen the articulation for this one, so no questions about that, I think. But for this figure, there are a lot of stuffs that you may need to know in case you don't have it. The fangs, it's not well painted here. It is not a huge deal, but just want to point that one out. Let me see here. All right, the eye coloring, it's a bit reddish compared to this one. All right, it's darker red. There you go. There's a good range of motion on the head. Only the difference is it sucks on this part here because the shoulder pads tends to hinder or tends to remove easily when you're moving the arm of the figure. Okay, tends to fall off earlier, but now it doesn't. For some reason, it's weird. Anyway, so yeah, the type of joint that being used here I haven't had issues with any Makai Kado figures that I had so far, but I believe this design can break, easily if you're not really careful. There are some instances that, they got the figure, with broken joints already. But good thing it never happened to me yet. But yeah, this one is, more fragile of breakage compared to the one that you're using with this figure. Um, Second thing that I don't like about this figure is this part here tends to fall off easy. You can remove this easy, and it moves more backward-y compared to moving it forward. So no ab crunch at the same time. It doesn't, it has a more range of motion moving backward for a weird reason. Because of the design of the waist right here. I believe it was designed that way. Second thing, this part here, it kind of hinders it. It's just actually it doesn't really hinder that much, but it kind of annoys me. This part kind of annoys me a lot. So yeah. Uh huh. Splits. The only thing that I like about this figure is this can ride the Madou horse, Ginga. Well, because compared to this one, aside from the ball jointed connected to the groin here, it has a hinge right there. So when you move it like that, as you can see, there's a hinge that helps the figure to add more range of motion so it can sit the Madou horse, which I will show you guys later on. So yeah, at the back, it has a double hinge. It's good, but it's like I said, it's prone of to break easily. It's not like it feels solid for my figures, but I know it's prone of breakage. Anyway, so if you may get confused, there's also a line of Makai Kado, Gara figures that was released way back. It's called Equip and Prop. So Equip and Prop, it came with an accessory that you can literally wear. At the same time, it comes with a human figure and the armor. So you're gonna take out the parts from the human figure, put the stuff, the armorize. You're just gonna technically armorize the human figure with this one. The range of motion from head to toe, I'm very positive it's pretty much the same as the Makai Kado, as far as this figure is concerned. But going on from the legs, like this figure, because I bought a loose equip and prop Kiba, and it came with number of parts from the equip and prop line. So I was lucky enough to get this leg, just this leg. Yeah. So I will show you guys. So as you can see here, when they launched the Makai Kado, they reinvent the joints here. A double hinge, like you've seen earlier, a good range of motion right there. But the equip and prop only came with one, as you can see, and a ball joint right there. So there's not much of a range there. It's not a huge deal for me actually. I'm just showing you guys how it somehow improved from the equipment prop Makai Kado and then the 10th anniversary one. But still, it has a good range of motion. It still has thigh swivel, just like this one. It's just that it doesn't move. I'm just not sure if it also has the hinge right there. So that's something that I'm not sure about because I don't have an equipment prop 0 yet. Hopefully soon. So there you have it for the articulation of this figure. As you can see, the silver has a darker tone here compared to here. The detailing has has a huge difference with this one, and overall pretty much from head to toe there's a huge improvement so far. It's a matter of perspective, which do you prefer, the new one or the old school. So yeah, try to respect each other's perspective. You can see, and it doesn't have to be as accurate as the one is being seen on the TV series, because well, technically, these figures are the spin-offs from the super imaginative Chogokin line, which, they were invented, or they were created to somehow emboss the detailing of the characters being seen in the Tokusatsu series, from the Kamen Rider, from the Garo series, and from other lines that they come up with. So yeah, that's their excuse of saying that, don't whine if it's not TV accurate, because we put art to these figures, which is, one of the reasons why I like this figure a lot, because of the detailing and the simple art that they put in. Simple skulls, as you can see. I'm just wondering why it's lighter here than this one. I'm just, you know, but it has a nice shading though, as you can see. It has a nice shading on the whites. But, I'm still wondering why there was, huge difference. So you can see at the back, huge difference. Back of the head. So there you have it for the comparison of these two figures. So we do have here a Ginga. So like I said, this figure, the 10th anniversary one, won't be able to ride the horse because of the range of motion on the feet. So let me show you guys. Okay, this can be tricky. You don't need to put too much pressure on it, because you might break the pegs that's connecting these joints here. But I think it's you can pull it off. But like I said, don't put too much pressure on it, because you might break it, and I don't wanna risk it. But yeah, basically it's not really designed to ride Ginga. Sorry, I keep saying Guten. God. Yeah, it's really risky. You might break the pegs of this one compared to this one. But what I usually do is I just take that off the waistline, then I put this thing on, because it has a hinge right there, like I've shown you guys earlier. It's much easier to ride Guten this way. There you go. But at least you got the idea of what I'm trying to say, right? So yeah. So here are the accessories of the figure. It came with one pair of blades made out of plastic. Unfortunately, it's not made out of die-cast, but they made it for a reason. Yeah. So one pair of open split hands, a well sculpted one. As you can see, very well sculpted and well painted in some areas. It's kind of a rust going on there, so it's great. It's dope. And then a fixed, solid sculpted weapon wielding hands. Alright, and then of course we have the base here, which you're gonna attach on this. The stand that came with the base. If you're gonna attach the wing, it's made out of clear plastic. You just need to be careful, because clear plastic tends to get cracks much faster than the non-clear type of Tamashii stands and base, based on experience. Yeah, so it's being attached like that. It clicks. It's on a hinge right here, hinge right here. Just need to be careful again on this part here, because like I said, clear plastics or clear stuff like this tends to have cracks more often, or much faster than the usual ones, again based on experience. So we have clips right here, so this will serve as the wing holders. It's not technically a clip, I think, but yeah, let's call it wing holders, for the sake of this review. And then we have another here, another clip-like thing. I forgot the right term for it, but it's optional if you're gonna use this part here, or you're gonna use this one to hold the waist of the figure, or you're gonna use the peg holes right here, so you're gonna attach it on top of the here. I go right there. So it's optional, I think, but I would go with this one rather. Then there's a peg holes right there and there. You're gonna use that to attach the wing part of the figure. Before the wing part, so here are the stand that will hold the wing, that will be connected right here on the sides of the base and stand. And these are the, of course, the wing holders. You're gonna attach it like that. You have the instruction manuals that came with the figure, so you can just check it out. And lastly, we do have the wing part here. So it's on a hinge right here, single hinge. This part here is on a soft plastic, but this part here feels solid. Doesn't have any die-cast part. This part feels solid. If you have Crow, it's pretty much the same as Crow. What makes this different? This part here is new one. This part is based from Crow. Yeah, I'm very positive about it. This one, new one, new one. I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop right there. So there's a single hinge right here, as you can see. There you go. Just need to be careful, but I wish they used this one. They have thought of this sooner, before they release the Equip and Prop Volume 7 Garo, because the Equip and Prop Volume 7 Garo, the wing one, it's a good figure, but you know, the wing part is really weak. So there you go for the accessory of the figures. To compare it to the old one, as you can see, here is the 10th anniversary sword. Here is the sword that came with Ginga. If you're gonna buy Ginga, it would come with an additional pair of blades. As you can see, this one is much more longer than this one. Not sure if it has something to do when he rides Ginga, if it, you know, the length increases. But you know, I failed to notice that watching the series. But you know, as you can see, there's a huge difference. But the waist is pretty much the same. The paint apps used here is obviously different. Here, as you can see. Alright. So second thing is that the 2011 release, it's using a die-cast part. It's made out of die-cast. You can see it, made out of die-cast. It has a darker tone to it, but it has pretty much the same, no, not exactly the same size, but you know, almost same size. So, and as you can see, this one here, this one is all straight out. This one, there's some kind of an angle right there, so different angle. It's weird, but you know, it's not a huge deal for me, but to some maybe it will be a huge deal. Just in case you need to know, the 2011 release of Zero, it came with this one pair of flaming blade thingies, so made out of translucent plastic. In case you need to know. Additional information that you need to know again is that all blades of Zero can be connected through a peg here. Alright, I have removed it. Peg right here. So in case you broke this one, or you forgot where you put this thing on, or it fell off, you can't find it anymore, it came with an extra one here on the packaging, so it's good that you have a spare. And as you notice, this is how the new weapon system works for all the Makai Kado figures so far that I've seen. The handle can be removed in order for you to latch it on to the figure's hand like this. And I would suggest to keep it this way, because well, you don't have any use for these hands anyway, as far as I know. And yeah, there you go. So there you have it. Before, they're using this kind of weapon wielding hands, this rubbery soft. The earlier release of Makai Kado and equipment prop has this kind of hands where it's a bit soft and you can just put the figure in it. Now they're using a well sculpted weapon wielding hands to hold the figure. So in case you need to know that. So there you go. So in case you don't know it yet, for those of you guys who haven't purchased Ginga yet, you would notice that this figure came with a hinge right here on the sides. So when you move it up, there's a peg hole right there, so it's an indicator that you can put something in it. But when I purchased this thing, I thought you can use the wings of Zero into Ginga, but unfortunately you need a more thicker peg for it to fit the peg holes of Ginga. So you can see here, it won't attach accordingly. It's really loose, so it's either you're gonna customize this part here, you're gonna modify it or some sort, so you can attach this wing, but as you can see, it won't. It's kind of a bummer, but it's not really a huge deal. So yeah. So overall, I find this figure really dope. This 10th anniversary Silver Knight Zero figure, the wing version. I highly recommend it. Just like in every Makai Kado reviews that I would do. It's not that I'm biased. It's just that if you're looking for a badass, artistic looking figure, if you're a fan of Keita Amemiya, the dude behind the entire Garo franchise, if you're a fan of Takayuki Takeya's art, these figures are for you. They come with a good range of motion, and like I said, badass details. So yeah, so if you have other questions about this line, about my reviews, please feel free to comment down below, or you can check me out on Instagram or Facebook. So thanks for checking out my review on this figure, and until later.